Hello guys, welcome to a new content, which is tourist attractions. Today we are going to learn the different aspects of tourism on an interactive way, since this class is with the purpose that you develop your different abilities. Today, we're going to learn how is organized tourism, the different types, and many different situations regarding to the topic. Let's start. The agenda for today is the following: types of tourism, iconic place in El Salvador, vocabulary, the roots that El Salvador has in tourism, tourism worldwide and the importance in the globalization of the country and the development, the branch of tourism, tourism management and administration. To talk about tourism is not only means people traveling for fun. It could be for many different purposes, as for example, it can be for leisure, business, even for a medical purpose. It includes activities such as sightseeing and camping. People who travel for fun are called tourists, but being a tourist is a complex concept. So that means that you get to experience different cultures, beliefs, people, and food, but it also comes with a level of personal responsibility. What I mean is, you are visiting another country or state. It's your duty to act as an ambassador and to leave a good impression on the locals in the country you are visiting. You have to be very good person. You have to behave. Tourism in El Salvador. Tourism is one of the most important resources that El Salvador has for the economic development. So that means that tourism plays an important role for our country because generates an important percent that helps the development of the country. The country, as you know, has natural attractions such as paradise, a tropical weather, and exuberant landscape. These are called natural resources, since depended merely by the environment. So to talk about the percent of income that generate the tourism in El Salvador, in the year of 2019, El Salvador tourism activity generates around 1.48 billion, 7% more than in 2018, when the income generated amounted to 1.183 billion, from a statement issued by the ministry with information about the government and the Ministry of Tourism. To talk about the types of tourism, we're going to start with cultural tourism. Is the subset of tourism concerned with a traveler's engagement with a country or region's culture, specifically the lifestyle of the people in those geographical areas, the history of those people, their art, architecture, religions, and other elements that helped shape their way of life. The second one is sustainable tourism. Sustainable tourism is an industry committed to making a low impact on the environment and local culture, while helping to generate future employment for local people. That means that a positive, sustainable tourism is to ensure that development is a positive experience for local people. Business tourism is concerned about making business. So that means that travel is a more limited and focused subset of regular tourism. During business tourism, individuals are still working and being paid, but are doing so away from both their workplace and home. Sometimes it can be difficult because you are working outside to your country. The next one is ecotourism. I think that this is one of the most important and attractive for the tourists. Ecotourism is a form of tourism involving visiting fragile, pristine, and relative undisturbed natural areas. For example, in our country, El Salvador, you can visit the department of Chalatenango, the department of Morazan in Perkin. So you can find several ecotourism style. So the next one is adventure tourism. Is a type of tourism involving exploration or travel to remote area. This is one of the most preferred for the people who love the adventure. Adventure tourism is rapidly growing in popularity as tourists seek unusual holidays, different from the typical vacation. The next one is dark tourism. Morbid tourism or grief tourism has been defined as tourism involving travel to places historically associated with death and tragedy. So you can visit, for example, castles in Europe, even in America. So the last one is health tourism. Health tourism is when we travel to another country in order to get a surgery or medical treatment. For example, I am from El Salvador and I visit USA in order to get surgery. So that means that this is health tourism. Okay, guys, it's time to talk about the most iconic touristic place in El Salvador. You know that in our country there are several places where we can easily practice tourism. But now it's time to talk about the most important, the most relevant, because their history is the highest in our country. So let's start. The first one is the National Theater in San Salvador. Was built between 1911 and 1917. Is one of the most important places in the history of El Salvador. The second one is Coatepeque Lake. Is a lake of volcanic origin located in the city of Santa Ana. In the year of 2013, the lake participates in the completion of the A Wonder World, winning the second place. The next one is Calepas Ruins, located in the beautiful city of San Miguel. That ruins are part of antique vestige of our ancestors, are part of a cultural tourism that is very beautiful. I recommend that place to visit to practice tourism in order to know more about our culture. The next one place is the Department of Morazan. This is a department of El Salvador where you can find several historical places such as the War Museum, historical church, beautiful mountains, beautiful waterfall and rivers. It's a good option to visit and know more about our culture as a country. The last one is El Pital, located in La Palma, department of Chalatenango. Is the most beautiful mountain in our country. Also, is the highest place in our country. Also, there is the Chaparrastique volcano, located in the department of San Miguel, is the highest volcano in our country. Even the Suchitlan Lake is one of the most beautiful lakes of El Salvador, located in Suchitoto City. The National Park Tilo de Níger, located in the department of La Libertad, is a beautiful example of ecotourism. So remember, ecotourism is about natural areas, as for example, landscape, mountains, river, and lakes. So in this case, is a natural park with many flora and fauna. Okay, guys, let's talk about the vocabulary. This is the most important part in this content because you have to know every single word in this vocabulary. Okay, in tourism, we can find several vocabulary that we can use in many different situations. That means that we have to know the vocabulary we must use in different situations. There are sections in which are organized every single word. As for example, we cannot use the same word in an hotel that in a mountain. Look at that example. It's very important because the vocabulary is organized according to the place. So let's start identifying the different kinds of section of vocabulary. The tourist activity in Spanish, so that means actividades turísticas que nosotros realizamos. According with the type of tourism we will do, so the activities will be. Remember, there are different places you can visit as a tourist. The hotel description we can use in order to describe the hotel appearance or the accessories that we can find inside or outside the hotel. So, in Spanish, son las descripciones de los hoteles, de los diferentes accesorios que podemos encontrar, ya sea dentro o fuera de este. The birds. This is an important part because the birds is every single action we do. These are actions we can do when we are doing tourism. There are several verbs we can use and apply. Son las acciones que nosotros realizamos como turistas. Por ejemplo, si nosotros visitamos una montaña, nosotros decimos subir la montaña, climb the mountain. So, descriptive adjectives, which are essential to refer to something in a travel or in a place. It could be good or bad. Los usamos los adjetivos descriptivos para hacer referencia a un lugar o a un objeto mientras hacemos turismo. Travel air. We use it as for example in the airport to describe the planes, to tell about travels, etc. Las descripciones en un vuelo o en el aire. Nosotros las usamos para describir cuando nosotros vamos a realizar un viaje en avión, ya sea estando en el avión o en el aeropuerto. Holidays are, that means in Spanish, las vacaciones. There are several types of holidays, as for example, in our country El Salvador, Navidad, Pascua, El Salvador del Mundo, etc. Accessories. This depends on the place we are. We can find many different types of souvenirs. So in Spanish, por ejemplo, cuando visitamos una ciudad o un país, nosotros traemos diferentes accesorios. Puede ser llaveros o camisas. Tourist attraction. In this part is referred to those different places that we can visit while we are doing tourism. Las atracciones turísticas se refieren a todo tipo de lugar donde nosotros vayamos y hagamos turismo. Okay guys, this is an important part because as a citizens of El Salvador, it's our duty know about the different routes of our country. The first one is the archaeological route. That includes Joya del Serén, San Andrés, the department of Santa Ana, the city of Chalchuapa, ruins of Tazumal, Casablanca, and Iglesia Santiago Apóstol. The craft route includes San Ignacio, La Palma, Citalá, San Sebastián, and Suchitoto. The route of La Paz, located in the department of Morazán, includes the whole municipalities. The route of Thousand Peaks is one of the most beautiful routes that you can visit as a tourist. The rural and cultural route, we can find that route in every single department, since each of one has their different culture and singularity. Sun and beach route, it includes the different departments with coast sun, as of, for example, the department of San Miguel, La Libertad, La Unión, and the department of Usulután. The route of La Flores, located between the departments of Ahuachapán and Sonsonate. The route of the volcanoes. That route is composed by the whole volcanic chain in our country. The most visited in our country is the volcano of Boquerón, located in the department of San Salvador.
Okay, guys, we are going to continue with the content tourists worldwide. Tourism is on the rise in 2019. There were a record 1.4 billion international tourist arrival. Well, each one of you wish to travel at least one to other country by different reasons. For example, you can travel for visit the family, and also you can visit different historical place of the country. Other important reason is do tourists. If you want to travel another country by the culture, that which is one of the more important things, the culture. If you like the culture from the other country, and if you have the opportunity, you can travel and practice and learn more about the culture. Another important reason is you can travel to visit some friends and practice the tourism. Well, now I'm going to tell you some countries that are very visited by their cultures for its monument and for landscape. Where the first country is France, the second is Spain, the third is United States, fourth is China, and fifth is Italy. Well, I'm going to talk about the tourist branch. Natural tourists responsible to travel to natural areas which conserve the environment and improve the welfare of local people. It is tourist based on the natural attractions of an area. Examples include bird watching, photography, fishing, hiking, camping, and visit some parks. Here in the country from El Salvador, we can find El Pital, Laguna de Alegría, and Conchaguas Hills. Buils, tourist attraction, is a place of interest where the tourists visit typically for its inherent exhibited natural or cultural values, historical significance, natural or beauty, offering leisure and amusement. And in the country, we can find Santa Ana Cathedral, National Theatre, and museums. Well, entertainment and pleasures is a form of activities that take away people stress, basically come from work or school and give them property amusement events. Even in festivals covers attendance at traditional or contemporary celebration of culture, which can include music, dancing, gastronomy, art, and sport. Such event can be one-off or may take place at the same time every year and can last from one day to several days. Here in the country, we can find Samuel Carnival, Con Carnival, and different carnivals celebration around the country. Okay, guys, I'm going to continue to talk about the tourist management and administration. Tourist administration is a well-defined regulatory and legal framework for tourists. Well, the leading international journal for all those concerned with the management, including planning of travel and tourism. Tourists comprise a multitude of activities which together for one of the world's fastest growing international sectors. The journal takes an interdisciplinary approach and include planning and policy aspect of international. Okay, guys, it's time of the question. If you have any doubt about the content or the activities that you have, this is the time. Well, don't be shy. I want to solve any doubt that you may have.
Okay, guys, some of you asked me in the general question forum about the activities you had for the current week. So, I'm going to explain every activity. The first one is the forum. Remember, you had to choose one place in our country and describe it. In that way, you had to use at least 100 words. Then, to publish your answer in the forum activity, you have to comment to classmates by adding extra information or suggestion to classmate. Remember, this activity is until Sunday. The second one is the send of the PDF document. I want you to at least 2 pages, and don't forget add cover page. This activity is in pairs. You have to describe the perfect touristic place for you. You have to give some characteristics and be specific about what that place will offer to the customer. So this is very important that you don't forget add the whole information. Be creative and interactive with your content. And the last one is the quiz. The quiz will be about the whole content. You have to study the content in the platform. Right, the quiz will be about 10 questions. Will be about multiple choice and true or false. The quiz will be available until Sunday. This is all for this class. Have a nice day and see you the next week.